Some of the best strikers in Premier League history have been the world's best players too. Let's find out who they are. Since its inception in 1992, the Premier League has attracted some of the world's best players, including the best forwards and attackers. The top Premier League attackers of all time have included some very elite athletes who have either competed for the coveted Golden Boot award or had an impact on the game as a whole. The striker position has rarely changed in the Premier League's 30-year history. There are many different types of strikers who can meet a team's needs, and historical legends are still effective today. The strikers on the list below have had tremendous success in the Premier League by utilizing their natural talent. Despite the fact that it was a difficult task, we made an effort to compile a list of the best forwards in Premier League history. We considered their achievements such as goals, assists, championships, and overall impact on football and the Premier League. Every striker on this list have impacted their team each on their own ways, making every player unique from the rest. But let's see who comes on top of the EPL top strikers ever, shall we? 9. Luis Suarez. After selling their talisman, Fernando Torres, in January 2011, Liverpool set about replacing him and investing in strikers. They ended up paying £22.8 million for Luis Suarez and £35 million for Andy Carroll. Fortunately for Liverpool, Suarez's performances were far superior to Carroll's, who was a flop at Anfield despite costing the club more. Suarez was notorious for biting players and playing dirty when he first arrived at Liverpool. His reputation did not improve during his time there, but his ability on the field cannot be denied. The Uruguayan wasn't an instant success at Anfield, scoring only 15 goals in his first 18 months, but the appointment of manager Brendan Rodgers was the catalyst for him to become one of the EPL's greatest strikers. Luis Suarez thrived under Rodgers' new tactics, combining with Sturridge to score 23 goals in the 2012-13 season and 31 in the 2013-14 season, earning him the Golden Boot in both the English Premier League and Europe, a prize that few strikers on this list have won. Liverpool mounted a title challenge that year, but it ended in heartbreak when they capitulated towards the end of the season and lost the title to Manchester City. Suarez scored 69 goals in 110 games for Liverpool, for a goal-per-game ratio of 0.63. Luis Suarez is the ideal modern striker, making him one of the greatest Premier League strikers of all time. Suarez has the ability to score with both his feet and his head, as well as dribble past defenders. He is quick and has a long shooting range. He has the ability to create magical moments in the game by scoring from impossible angles or range. Despite numerous disciplinary issues, Suarez managed to leave his mark on Premier League history by becoming one of the best strikers of all time. 8. Didier Drogba. Chelsea tried to sign a great striker to complete their team in the years following Roman Abramovich's acquisition of the club, and with the advice of their new manager, they opted to sign a power-commanding striker. Didier Drogba was that player, and he went on to become one of the best Premier League strikers of all time. Drogba brought much-needed grit to Chelsea's attack, something Mourinho's teams were known for. That grit contributed to Chelsea being a team that was difficult to beat and could produce results even when their opponents were playing defensively. Drogba accomplished this by leading Chelsea to back-to-back Premier League titles in his first 2 seasons. He won the league again in 2009-10 and again in 2014-15. Although the Ivorian was never a prolific goal scorer, he did manage to score more than 20 goals in a season twice, something that many of the best strikers in Premier League history have done on occasion. Drogba was just the sort of attacker that could score a goal even when Chelsea were not playing well, the kind of goals that brought points to the team and made them champions. Drogba loved to score in big games, which made him a fan favorite. He managed to score 104 goals in 254 Premier League games for Chelsea, but perhaps his most important goal for the club came in the Champions League final of 2011-12 season that drew the game against Bayern Munich, which they later won on penalties. Because of that goal and many others, he has become one of the greatest strikers in Premier League history. 7. Harry Kane. Tottenham as a club does not have many football superstars in its history, or at least not in the EPL era, but that title could arguably be given to 2 Tottenham players, Gareth Bale and Harry Kane. Kane, a product of Tottenham's own youth academy, broke into the team during the 2013-14 season, when Tottenham was struggling to replace Gareth Bale by signing foreign strikers who did not perform. Kane repaid Spurs' faith in him by scoring 21 goals in 2014-15. Spurs knew they had a future superstar on their hands. Harry Kane went on to win the Golden Boot 2 years in a row between 2015 and 2017. Kane has 201 goals in 305 Premier League appearances with an incredible 0.65 goals per game ratio, demonstrating why he is one of the EPL's best strikers. He hasn't won any team awards with Tottenham, but he has won individual awards such as being named England's Best Player of the Year twice, the aforementioned Golden Boots, and PFA Fans Player of the Year in 2016-17. Perhaps his most significant award was the World Cup Golden Boot in 2018, which cemented his place among the world's greatest footballers as well as the best strikers in Premier League history. 6. Ruud van Nistelrooy. The Dutchman joined Manchester United to replace two other players on this list, York and Cole, and he did so without the need for a strike partner. Ruud van Nistelrooy was excellent in his brief time at Manchester United, but he only won one Premier League title with them. He was Thierry Henry's only real competition at the time, and he managed to beat him once, in the 2002-2003 season, when he won the Golden Boot by scoring 25, one more than Henry. He was named Player of the Year and played a key role in Manchester's championship victory. Van Nistelrooy was a goal poacher, an expert in the penalty box who rarely missed scoring chances. He was also physically powerful and tall, making him a nightmare for defenders. All of this, combined with David Beckham's inch-perfect crosses, made scoring for one of the best Premier League strikers ever a piece of cake. He scored 95 goals in 150 Premier League appearances, 0.63 GPG, for Manchester United and went toe-to-toe with one of the greatest strikers in football history, even outscoring him on occasion, proving his status as one of the best strikers in Premier League history. 5. Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney, the greatest Manchester United forward of the Premier League era and one of the greatest players in club history, is another United player who ranks among the top EPL strikers of all time. Rooney Aldo, as Everton fans affectionately dubbed him after Brazilian Ronaldo, became one of the Premier League's youngest ever goal scorers in 2002, when he was just 5 days shy of his 17th birthday. Rooney never looked back after that goal, going on to become one of the best strikers in Premier League history. The following summer Manchester United, in their ever-present pursuit of finding new sensational strikers, made a deal of around £25.6 million for the player. Rooney had a hefty transfer fee to live up to, and he went on to be worth every penny and then some. Wayne Rooney was a quick player with a powerful shot. He was unstoppable and didn't appear to tire by the end of the game. Although he only scored 20 goals in a season twice, it was his consistency of scoring 10-plus goals per season that propelled him to the second-best goal scorer in Premier League history, trailing only Alan Shearer. Wayne Rooney scored 208 goals in 491 Premier League games, 25 for Everton and the rest for Manchester United. He won 5 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League, and nearly everything else with United, and he will be remembered as one of the best strikers in Premier League history. 4. Sergio Aguero. The word legend is quite often tossed around in football, but there are a few players that truly deserve the title, and Sergio Aguero is one of them. He became a legend by scoring many memorable goals that are part of football folklore, like his famous goal against QPR in the injury time that made Manchester City champions after a 44-year wait. But as you look at his numbers and the amount of trophies that Manchester City won with him, it becomes apparent that every one of his goals were as important as that. Aguero loved scoring, he was a proper goal-scoring machine, and the key in all of this was his consistency. In his 10 seasons at City, he managed to score more than 20 goals a season in 6 of those, only failing to do so in other seasons because of his numerous injuries. Aguero almost never experiences a loss of form after coming back from an injury, which is a testament to his resilience. One of the best Premier League strikers of all time, Aguero announced his retirement in December 2021, after the advice of his physicians. By scoring 184 goals in 275 matches and having a 0.67 GPG ratio, the best amongst this list of players, Aguero helped his team win 5 Premier League titles and numerous cup titles. He is one of the best strikers in Premier League history. 3. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp is one of football's most unique players, as well as one of the best strikers in Premier League history. The non-flying Dutchman was all class, flair, and technique, rarely scoring an ugly goal. He was also one of the first genuine football superstars to join the EPL, raising the league's profile. Bergkamp joined a turbulent Arsenal in 1995, but it wasn't until the appointment of Arsene Wenger in 1996 that he became the legend he is today, as one of the best forwards in Premier League history and the greatest Arsenal player ever. Bergkamp, unlike any other player on this list, seemed to thrive on assisting goals rather than scoring them. In fact, he is the only EPL top striker in history to have more assists than goals, with 94 assists and 87 goals in the Premier League. He was a general and the brains behind many of Arsenal's strike partnerships, from his early days with the legendary Ian Wright to his final days with fellow countryman Robin van Persie. His unforgettable partnership with Thierry Henry became a career-defining partnership as two of the best strikers in Premier League history linked up to score and assist goals and create magic at Highbury Stadium. Henry himself, as he describes Bergkamp, the best player he ever played with, apart from Messi, and Henry played with a lot of great players including Zinedine Zidane. Whether because of his elegant control of the ball, his right foot curl shots, or most importantly his great vision of creating chances, Dennis Bergkamp will be remembered as one of the greatest footballers of all time and one of the best Premier League strikers ever. His presence helped Premier League grow and be a place for superstars. Players like Henry, Perez, Ljungberg and Van Persie were mentored by him in his style of play and picked up a lot his traits, and for this, every Arsenal fan as well as any football fan should be grateful to have seen him play. 2. Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer's only job in his career was to score goals. The Englishman is the epitome of a centre forward, being unstoppable in front of goal, scoring from even the smallest of opportunities and providing consistency. He hit every note of being a world-class striker, and it all started with the Premier League's inception in 1992-93. Shearer had a breakout season just before the Premier League began in 1992, and there was a race to sign the young Shearer that summer. Blackburn Rovers won the race, and Shearer was on his way to becoming the Premier League's all-time leading scorer. He managed to score 112 goals in 138 matches for Blackburn, helping them win the Premier League in 1994-95 season. Shearer scored a record 34 goals in single season that year, a record that is yet to be broken. He then joined his boyhood club Newcastle United in 1996 and spent the next 10 years of his career there until he retired from football. Much could be said about Shearer's individual achievements as he won the EPL Golden Boot 3 times among numerous other awards, but it's his goal tally of 260 goals in 441 matches that will stand the test of time and is his greatest achievement, one that many of best strikers in Premier League history wanted to overtake but have failed, and for this achievement alone he will be immortalized in EPL history. 1. Thierry Henry. There was no denying Thierry Henry. If there was ever a theme to Henry's playing career, it would be this. Whatever team you supported, you either enjoyed watching him play or feared his every move. And whether the opponent was a small club or a big team, whether they played defensively or offensively, Thierry Henry would score, and one thing was certain, there could be no denying Thierry Henry. The Frenchman arrived at Arsenal after winning the World Cup and spending 6 months unsuccessfully at Juventus. He left the club having become a football superstar and the best striker in Premier League history after 258 games and 175 goals. But a lot happened during those 258 games. Arsenal fans called him the King and VAVAVUM. The first was because of his dominance on the pitch and his winning mentality, and the second for his flair and technique as a player. It's fair to say that Henry was a player that had a style like Bergkamp's, but also scored as ruthlessly and as often as Shearer, which made him become the greatest striker in Premier League history. Thierry Henry is the only player on this list to win the EPL Golden Boot 4 times, and on 2 of those occasions he became European Golden Boot winner consecutively. He managed to score more than 20 goals in every competition for Arsenal in every season he was at the club except the last one. And considering his short time in the EPL, relative to others on this list, and his achievements, it's no wonder he is our #1 best Premier League striker of all time. The beauty of it was that he wasn't all about scoring. He managed to assist nearly half as much as he scored, establishing himself as one of the best assist makers in EPL history. In fact, until recently, only Lionel Messi had broken his record of scoring 24 goals and assisting 20 goals in a single season in 2002-2003. Henry became one of the greatest strikers of all time after winning 2 Premier League titles and several cup trophies with Arsenal. He was twice runner-up for world's best player, but lost to Zidane and Ronaldinho, which speaks volumes about his talent. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy, and as always, don't forget to subscribe, like and share for more amazing videos. Tell us in a comment, do you agree with me that Henry is the best striker in EPL history? And always remember, more support from you will help us to continue.